All information contained in this podcast is general in nature and does not consider your individual circumstances. You should consider the appropriateness of this information with regards to your individual objectives, financial situation, and needs. Welcome to Sharing More Than the Sheets, a podcast to help you and your partner make better financial and lifestyle decisions so that you can both focus on the things that you love. I'm your host, Michael Khouri, financial planner, green thumb, husband, and just dad. This segment is called Michael's Magic Moment. It's my opportunity to play a little snippet from one of our previous episodes, which resonated with our listeners, that I received feedback from, or I felt really had an impact on some people's lives. Hope you enjoy. Today I want to talk about financial success. Now, for me as an advisor, I find this concept of financial success so fascinating because regularly I hear people telling me, I want to be financially successful. I meet people that think they're financially successful. I meet people that are financially successful. And it's a set of words that means something different to almost every single person. Now, the reason I'm talking about it today is because it's important for you to ask yourself that question as to what you believe is the definition of financial success. Now, to some people, it's having a nice car. To some people, it's having a nice house in the suburb that they want to live in. For some, it's going on that holiday that they want to go on. For some, it could be just not having to worry about money. Once you understand what your definition is, once you understand what you want and what you want to work towards, you can then work out whether it actually is the definition of financial success. And then you can also then know what you need to do to work towards it. The reason I feel like we all need to ask ourselves what we think the definition is because especially when you have a couple, it could mean something different to both of them. And if they're on different pages, if to one person financial success is having a nice car, and to the other it's just having $50,000 in the bank, then it's very important that they talk about that because straight away, the path that they're on is completely different, and they're almost setting themselves up for disappointment or potentially failure. And the other thing as well is it's important to talk about these things to someone, whether it's your advisor or your partner, but it's important to talk to someone about these things because they might give you a bit of a reality check and actually tell you, hey, listen, that is not the definition of financial success. Having the car that you want or going on that holiday or having that house, because you need to also focus on X, Y, and Z. Could be putting food on the table. Could be your children's education. It could be retirement. It could be what to do when you retire. It could be to have the choice to retire. It could be so many different things. And this is why it's not a simple question. And to me, I find it so fascinating when I hear about people talking about this whole financial success thing, and I meet people that, again, are literally financially successful. And I feel like it is important for us to have wins. Like we need not quick wins, but we need wins. We need certain milestones in our life that we can try to aim for, to reach, where once we reach it, it just creates this level of satisfaction. It's like, yes, I've achieved this level. I've done this I'm on my way to financial success, or I'm heading down the right direction, or I'm making the right decisions, or I'm doing the right things, or I'm in the right place, or in the right business, or in the right job. And if you can have these milestones, and if you can know what this path looks like, it makes it so much easier to go down. It makes it easier to go down that path, and it also makes it easier to stay on track as well. The reason I say this, just like any journey, traveling anywhere, you are going to reach obstacles. You are going to reach certain experiences that you've never been through. You're going to, things will be thrown at you, circumstances. You're going to have ups, you're going to have downs. It's the same thing with money. With money, when you're working towards something, it's so easy sometimes to get discouraged. It's so easy to fall off track. In fact, you're almost guaranteed to fall off track somehow because things are going to happen. But if you have this goal and you know what your version of financial success looks like and you know what you're heading towards, it makes it easier to soldier on and to just keep going towards that. Yes, you might detour. Yes, that things might pop up and you'll have to do a little detour, and you might have to, slowly, things might slow down for a short period of time. But if you know where you're going, it's so much easier to get there in the end. Now, to many people, financial success, and I hear this regularly, people saying, look, I don't want to be a millionaire. I just don't want to worry about money. I just want to be able to go on a holiday. I want to be able to put my kids through the school they want to go to. If we need to buy something, I want to be able to buy it. I don't want to have to worry about money. And this is generally what I find most people want. They just want to have a particular lifestyle and they want to be able to maintain it. Now, in achieving something like this, it's not as hard as you think. And the reason I say that is because it may mean you may not have that straight away. It may mean that you may need to work hard for a period of time, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, until you're at a point where your debt's paid down to a certain level, or you have investments, or you're able to have enough savings to get yourself into that position. So it may not happen straight away, but it's important to realize that you sometimes can't have your cake and eat it too. And what I mean by that is I meet so many people that are already living this ideal lifestyle, saying that they just want to maintain this ideal, perfect lifestyle. For some, it's possible, but for many, it's not. They don't have enough income. They don't have enough resources behind them to maintain what they have and also build for the future. So the point I'm getting to is that sometimes a bit of sacrifice is required, or having a trade-off discussion with your advisor or your partner and saying, look, this is what we really want, and this is what we're willing to sacrifice. We understand that we can't have all these things now. We can't do the things that we want to do now, but we want to put a plan in place so that we can do it. And if you can have an advisor come back to you and say, look, this is what you can do. This is how. If you do X, Y, and Z, this is what our projections look like. Keeping in mind that they're only projections and no one has a crystal ball. It's going to, most likely, you're going to be more likely to achieve your goal compared to not really knowing where things are going. And secondly, you're going to be more likely to work towards that goal as well. The other thing as well is when you have this goal of financial freedom and what you want and you know what it looks like to you, you're going to be less likely to do things that will reduce the possibility of you achieving that goal. So for example, if your goal is to have X amount saved up by this particular period of time, you're going to be less likely to spend money on other things like random spending on, shopping, going to sales, to going to the shops to buy things that you probably don't need, little hobbies, excessive money spent on takeaway, like all there are things that I see regularly which deter people from achieving their goals. Sometimes it's hard to say no, but it's a lot easier to say no when you know what your goal is and you know what you're working towards, because you know what the end goal is. And I sort of am, when I'm talking about this, I'm thinking of a swimmer. I've had Grant Hackett on the show before. We talked about some of this, but as a swimmer, let's say your goal is to reach the Olympics, and let's say that your goal is to be good enough to one day be accepted into the Olympics, and to do that, you need to reach a certain level. And then let's say all your friends want to go out and party every night and go out to restaurants and eat whatever. And as an athlete, you know your goal, you know what your version of success is, you know what you need to do to get there. You're going to be less likely to go out with your friends to dinner late at night and eating things that you probably don't want to eat. You're going to be less likely to skip training. You're going to be less likely to do other things which deters you from training. You're going to be less likely from picking up bad habits that will affect your body, which will obviously reduce the probability of you getting into the Olympics. And when I talk about money, it's a very similar parallel. If you have a goal, you're less likely to be distracted. You're less likely to fall off track. You're less likely to let other things take priority because you know what you're working towards. If you talk to many people in business that have done well in business, most of them will tell you that they've failed. They'll tell you they've made big mistakes. They'll tell you that they've done things that they regret doing. They wish they did things differently. But almost all of them, and these I'm talking about those that are successful in business, will tell you that they had a goal, they had something they were working towards, and they were motivated by that. Things popped up, but they still focused on their goal. They focused on what they were trying to achieve. It's a very simple principle. It's been around for thousands of years. Money is exactly the same thing. Yet many people do not treat money the same way. They just assume it's going to happen, or they assume that they need to win the lotto to make it happen. But no, if you've got a goal, if you've got something to work towards, and you follow these principles, you're going to be more likely to achieve this version of financial success and what it means to you and your family. Thanks for joining us on Sharing More Than the Sheets. Please make sure you subscribe to be updated with future episode releases, and feel free to share this episode with any friends or family that you think it might benefit. Please visit us at sharingmorethanthesheets.com.au to submit questions or requests for future podcast topics. These podcasts have been brought to you by Better Financial Planning Australia. To book a 15-minute phone chat, visit betterfinancialplanning.com.au.